Hello! Well, Christmas has come early on the channel this year. We've got a lovely gift from eBay. And I don't think it's that vintage Starsky and Hutch lunchbox I ordered. It's something even better from a galaxy far, far away. I worked that out because it says Star Wars on it. So, what's inside then? You all know, because you've read the title of the video where it says. I do appreciate a nicely wrapped thing, though. And this is certainly one of those. It is upside down! Hooray! Also, it is Star Wars Jedi Challenges. It is an augmented reality set where you look at things that aren't real and they're superimposed on things that are real and you get confused. I think that's the way it works. Basically think virtual reality, but you can see real stuff behind it. So, in production with Lenovo, then people what do the computers, they've put together a headset that I believe you put your phone in and then you can fight Kylo Ren and his evil lightsaber that has bits coming out the side because he didn't build it properly. So, the box, it's very, very pretty. Look, it's all posh and got nice pictures on, and is what we would call in the trade as a little bit classy. Right, what do we get inside? We get a lightsaber controller, Lenovo Mirage augmented reality headset, and a tracking beacon. I don't know if you can see from there, but the tracking beacon looks a little bit like a scale model of the Epcot Centre, so that's quite nice in itself for a bit of a Disney tie-in. Right, I'm going to jump cut while I cut into this. And the first thing that greets you upon opening the box is, as it jolly well should be, the lightsaber. It's chrome effect. It's got rubber on it so it doesn't fly out of your hand when you're fighting a virtual Kylo Ren and fly through a window or something. And it's got a bit on the end. There's like a squidgy lipstick. What isn't there to like? No, that's very nice, very nicely detailed. It's got a button on it and everything, and even got a belt loop. Look, so you can hang it from your belt like a real Luke Skywalker. I think this is based on Luke's one from A New Hope, isn't it? I'm pretty sure of that. Or Anakin's, I suppose, because it was that one before it gave it to him, wasn't it? I hope I got that right. If not, the comments will tear me apart. So, that's the lightsaber, the bits you will actually be having the fun with. What else have we got in here? A headset, I would hope, which I'm assuming is in the big bag marked Jedi Challenges. Does it want to come out, though, is the question. I think it does. Hey. So, that's where you put your phone in, I am guessing. Where does that go in? Oh, yep, here we are. Here's the bit you shove through with your eyes and use to look. And then what it will do is the mighty splitting of your screen to give you a whole 3D depth effect and all that kind of stuff. Oh, look, here I am. Hello! Nice to see you. Thanks for coming out. We've got a couple of cameras in there which are going to help with tracking, obviously. Got some buttons for control on that side. No idea what they do as yet. And this opens up, enabling... There's things that slot in and out. Look at this. Right, I understand. This is for putting different phones in, and you can adjust it to the size of your phone, because phones come in many sizes, and this will work with Android and iPhone and Windows Mobile. No, I'm joking. Nothing works with Windows Mobile. It's dead. Let it go, guys. Let it go. Yeah, I'm charging through that bit in there by the looks of that, because it's got a micro USB on it. Right, weight of it is pretty good, actually. It's obviously going to be heavier once it's got a phone in, but unless your phone is literally made out of house bricks, that shouldn't be a massive problem. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be too heavy on the head, but we shall find out later. In here, JediChallenges.com/app. That'll be where you get the app from. Where's the... here it is. Right. This is the little sensor thing, which really does look like a scale model of the Crystal Dome, perhaps, from the Crystal Maze, or indeed the Epcot Centre. That's quite nice. You can sit there and squeeze it all day and night, and then eventually probably play with your lightsaber things. That's the whole point. And also there's a box of, well, it's got to be leads and gubbins and chargers and stuff, one would assume. Maybe we actually open it very badly, apparently. Here we go. Right. And in here we have lots of stuff, maybe. Yes, there we go. Oh, 3 batteries. Always a nice thing. And, yeah, here we are. Connectors and, USB... plug, which is always useful, the Book of Words, and more leads. Well, that's all rather nice. This is obviously the visually the most interesting bit. That's quite nice. The sort of thing that wouldn't display badly, actually. Anyway, what's the whole game thing like then? So, this is my attempt to show you what it looks like through the augmented reality headset. You can't just film straight through it, so I've combined footage from multiple sources here. Now, when you're actually looking through it, it's a lot wider than this. This is just how it looks when you're capturing footage directly from it. You will notice that everything looks like the blue holograms from Star Wars, but a bit clearer, which makes perfect sense, frankly. And you will also see, you can see the background. Now, I would strongly recommend while you're playing this, play in as dark a room as possible, because it seems to enhance the 3D effect, and also, frankly, it just looks a lot cooler. In fact, I am going to knock down the background entirely for the rest of this as I show you the various gameplay options on offer. First up is what we're all the most excited about, obviously, the Lightsaber Combat. This is where you get to move around a nifty controller and do all that proper Jedi stuff like. This is basically broken into two parts. One where you shoot stormtroopers or battle droids at other minor enemies, mostly by deflecting their shots back at them or carving them up if they're stupid enough to get too close. And then going into the duels, where you actually fight against people with their own lightsabers. The very first one is Darth Maul, so you're straight in at the deep end, and basically it involves moving your lightsaber to certain points to block, and then striking back when an opportunity presents itself. But with each subsequent opponent it becomes a lot more involved, and by the end of it you're having to watch their arms as to which way they're going to hit you, and making sure you can dodge left and right physically in the real world in order to dodge things, and it gets very, very frenetic. This is the best game mode for my money. You would expect it to be, and indeed it is. It's super fun, and with the 3D effect it is very intense indeed. Also there's a nice range of opponents. You've got some people from Star Wars Rebels as well as the obvious ones like Maul and Vader, etc, etc. Secondly is something called the Trials of Leadership, which is more like a sort of hybrid between a real-time strategy game and tower defense, where you can put down various towers and things, but also get your troops out and decide where everything goes in order to stop your base getting blown up by the bad guys. This was far better than I was expecting. I didn't think it would be quite this fun, but it's really well balanced, and there's a lot of really nice little touches, like the way you can just chuck Obi-Wan Kenobi out and he really carves everybody up if you save up enough of your force points from killing the enemies. It's also really good fun to sit there on your carpet and have like little men running around, because the graphics, as in all the parts of this actually, are really, really solid. They give a really nice 3D effect, but also, you know, they look like what they're supposed to look like, which when you've got something like Star Wars really makes or breaks it. And finally, it's holochess, you know, like what they play in the Millennium Falcon in the first film, in it. This really looks the part. Weirdly, I think this is what I was most impressed with visually, I think just because it did so strongly harken back to the first film. The actual game is the weakest of the three, I think, because there's slightly less to it. It's based around the units being more effective against some than others, so you end up with a kind of rock, paper, scissors thing going on. And I mean, as you play it, more stuff does unlock, and you know, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't seem to have the depth and the longevity of the other two play modes. Before you ask, no, you cannot remove the rubber end in order to display the hilt, which is a shame, because it is super pretty. But anyway, as you have seen, this is a really nifty bit of kit, and my goodness, it has some fun games to go along with it. It's also very portable. You don't need to plug it into a computer or anything. You can just take the parts along with you, and away you go. And the whole thing is completely wireless, so no worries about cables stretching out from the back of your head or anything. Also, the fact that it's run through a mobile app means you can just get the app updated with new content and stuff, hopefully. So that would be very nice. That is something I sincerely hope they do after The Last Jedi is out. Now, something to bear in mind is that it's slightly fiddly to set up the first time. I wouldn't recommend just giving it to the kids. Make sure you have an adult with them with a bit of patience in order to get the whole thing calibrated and running, and then they can be hacking away at Darth Maul to their heart's content. Also, something I noticed with phones is that smaller phones, well, I'll tell you, we basically tried it on a fairly standard Android phone and also on an iPhone 7. Now, the iPhone 7 looked better in the sense that the everything seemed higher res and just kind of looked prettier. But the Android phone, being smaller, seemed to be slightly easier to set up and sort of get in the middle of the cartridge thing that pushes into above the mirrors in the headset. What that basically meant was the larger screen phones higher visual quality, but the 3D effect seems slightly more prominent from the smaller phones. Your mileage may vary on that. That could be my eyes and stuff like that, but as far as I can tell, you're going to get a good result out of it regardless of your phone. It may just be slightly different to other ones, because it's slightly fiddlier to get the bigger phones into the cartridge. And that's it, really. May the Force be with you. I've always wanted to end a video saying that.
Subscribe for more.